There are places you visit, and then there are places that steal a piece of your soul. Welcome to Cape Town, South Africa. Affectionately known as the Mother City, this is a place where towering mountains literally plunge into two colliding oceans. It is a sensory overload of dramatic landscapes, vibrant cultures, and a resilient spirit that refuses to be forgotten. In this journey, we aren't just scratching the surface, we are diving deep. From the windswept heights of Table Mountain to the haunting history of Robben Island, from the rainbow streets of Bo-Kaap to the wild, penguin-guarded shores of the Cape Peninsula, and finally, to the lush, sun-drenched vineyards of Constancia. Pack your bags, settle in, and prepare your senses. This is Cape Town, Unfolded. To truly understand Cape Town, you have to look up. Dominating the skyline from every single angle is Table Mountain, a natural wonder over 300 million years old, making it older than the Andes, the Alps, and the mighty Himalayas. When the locals look toward the peak and see a thick white layer of clouds rolling perfectly over the flat top, they smile and say the mountain is spreading its tablecloth. When the tablecloth is laid, the mountain is speaking. Up here, at over 1,000 meters above sea level, the air hits your lungs differently. Looking out over the vast Atlantic Ocean and the sprawling city bowl below, you quickly realize this isn't just a massive rock, it is a biological fortress. Table Mountain holds more unique plant species in its specific fynbos biome than the entire United Kingdom combined. Whether you choose to glide effortlessly to the top in the rotating cableway or decide to tackle the grueling, exhilarating, and sweaty hike up Platyclip Gorge, standing on this ancient plateau makes you feel beautifully, wonderfully small. It is the anchor of the city, a sentinel that has watched centuries of history unfold at its feet. Descending from the cool, misty heights of the mountain, we plunge into a neighborhood that looks as though a box of vibrant crayons suddenly came to life. This is Bo-Kaap, but these brilliant neon-colored walls aren't just an aesthetic choice for photographers, they are a vivid celebration of human freedom. Formerly known as the Malay Quarter, Bo-Kaap is the historic, beating heart of Cape Town's Muslim community. Many of its early residents were enslaved people brought to the Cape by the Dutch East India Company from Malaysia, Indonesia, and various parts of East Africa. During the dark era of slavery, all houses under colonial rule were required to be painted a dull, uniform white. When emancipation finally came in the 1830s, the residents rejoiced by painting their homes in brilliant pinks, electric blues, lime greens, and canary yellows as a bold, joyous expression of their individual identity and their newfound liberty. As you walk up the steep, historic cobblestone streets, the rich history is palpable. The call to prayer echoes beautifully from the Awal Mosque, the oldest in the country, while the heavy, irresistible aroma of traditional Cape Malay curry and freshly fried coconut-covered Koa Sister donuts fills the afternoon air, gently inviting you to stay just a little longer. But Cape Town's beauty is undeniable, and to truly respect it, you must also understand its deepest scars. Leaving the bright, bustling energy of the Victoria and Alfred waterfront behind, we board a ferry to cross the choppy, slate-gray waters of Table Bay. A 45-minute journey brings us to a low-lying, wind-whipped outcrop of land known as Robben Island. For centuries, this isolated island served as a prison, a leper colony, and a mental asylum. But its place in global history was cemented as the maximum security prison where Nelson Mandela was incarcerated for 18 of his 27 years during the brutal, oppressive apartheid regime. What makes a journey to Robben Island profoundly moving, and often heartbreaking, is that the guides who lead you through the stark, cold concrete corridors are former political prisoners themselves. When they stand before you outside Mandela's tiny, sparse cell, a room containing nothing but a small bucket and a thin straw mat on the floor, they aren't reading history from a textbook. They are sharing their own living memory. When they speak of the blinding glare of the limestone quarry, the isolation, and the eventual triumph of their movement, you realize that Robben Island stands today not as a monument to oppression, but as a global, living symbol of human endurance, forgiveness, and reconciliation. From the somber, reflective halls of history, we return to the mainland and hit the open road, heading south. We find ourselves tracing the dramatic coastal curves of Chapman's Peak Drive, widely considered one of the most spectacular marine drives on the face of the earth. It is a road carved directly into the side of a sheer cliff that drops vertically into a roaring, untamed ocean, offering 114 curves of pure, jaw-dropping coastal adrenaline. This breathtaking highway leads us down the peninsula to some of the city's most charismatic and beloved residents at Boulder's Beach End. Here, against all odds, a thriving colony of wild African penguins has set up camp right alongside human neighborhoods. You can walk along the wooden boardwalks and watch these tiny, tuxedo-wearing birds waddle clumsily across pristine white sand, bicker over nesting spots, and then transform into incredibly graceful, torpedo-like swimmers the second they dive into the turquoise surf. Continuing even further south to the absolute tip of the peninsula, the landscape grows wilder and more windswept until you reach the Cape of Good Hope and Cape Point. Sharp, jagged cliffs cut into the ocean like the bow of a massive ship, and waves crash violently against the rocks below. Once feared by early European explorers as the treacherous Cape of Storms, standing on this edge of the earth makes you feel as though you are looking out into the great unknown. After braving the wild, salty winds of the coast, it is time to slow down, head inland, and toast to the good life. You don't even have to leave the city limits to find world-class, breathtaking vineyards. Nestled under the eastern slopes of Table Mountain lies the Constantia Valley, the oldest wine-producing region in the entire southern hemisphere, dating all the way back to 1685. The rugged ocean cliffs melt away, replaced by lush, rolling green hills covered in perfectly manicured rows of grapevines, framed by historic, White Cape Dutch-style manor houses and ancient oak trees. Sampling the crisp Sauvignon Blancs and rich, robust reds in this valley isn't just a culinary indulgence. It is a literal taste of liquid history. In fact, Napoleon Bonaparte famously loved the sweet wine of Constantia, so much that during his final exile on the remote island of St. Helena, he had hundreds of liters shipped to him, refusing to drink anything else. Sitting under the shade of the trees here, watching the sun dip low over the vineyards, You can taste the centuries of passion and craftsmanship that have shaped this fertile land. As our journey comes to a close, we find ourselves at the top of Signal Hill just as evening begins to fall. Hundreds of people, locals and travelers alike, are gathered on the grass, opening picnic baskets and sharing laughs. The sky above has transformed into a dramatic canvas of deep orange, vibrant pink, and royal purple. Below us, the city lights begin to twinkle on, looking like a vast sea of stars waking up for the night. It is in this exact moment, as the sun dips below the Atlantic horizon and casts its final, golden glow over the landscape, that you begin to realize why this place is called the Mother City, and why people leave a piece of their heart here. Cape Town is a city of profound dualities. It is ancient yet modern. It is painfully scarred yet beautifully resilient. It is a place where the wildness of nature meets the deep warmth of human connection. It challenges you, it heals you, and above all, it inspires you. As the silhouette of Table Mountain stands proud against the fading twilight, guarding the glittering jewel of Africa below, you know that this isn't a place you just visit and leave behind. It is a place that stays with you forever.